What is up, you guys? Welcome back to the 12 days of Wolfmas. This is day number 9. We're up $2,900 and giving it all away to you guys. Drop a subscribe, drop a comment why I should pick you. We're here at Rockford Charitable Games in Chicago, into the 1-2 game for 300. Looking to make some more money. Let's get into the hands. Let's go. The 12 days of Wolfmas have taken us across the country, but now we're back in Chicago. We hop into the charity game 1-2 for $300. We're off to the races. We look down at 8-9 of diamonds from the button, and I put the $5 straddle in. We get a few callers and the action's back over to me. 8-9 of diamonds seems like a great hand to put in a raise. Start the action early and set the tempo for the session, so I make it $20 to go. We get called in 5 spots. Yes, we are going 6 ways to the flop with $120 in the middle, which comes king 6-5 with 1 diamond. I flop myself a backdoor diamond draw, 2 middling cards, and a gutter to the straight. When the action checks over to me, it's likely that somebody has connected with this board in some capacity. Maybe they have a king, maybe they have a set or 2 pair. So I decide to check behind, which I think is the wise move, looking to see a 7, 8, 9, or a diamond on the turn. And we get one of those, although it falls into the bottom half of the type of cards I'd want to see. It comes at 8 of clubs, giving me second pair. The action checks over to the hijack, and he decides to bet out for $30 into the $120 pot. And because it's the first hand of the night, I made a pair and I still have a gut shot to the straight, I decided to put in the $30. I'm the only one to do so, and that means we are heads up in position to a river. The river card now comes the king of clubs pairing the board, and now he decides to check it over to me. When he bets the turn and then checks the river, it's very unlikely, almost impossible that he has a king here. I don't really think he'd be trapping with this kind of a line. So when he checks it over to me, I actually debate going for value, targeting worse 8s if there are any, and then maybe a hand like ace 6, pocket 7s, ace 5. But at the end of the day, I think that it's a little bit too thin a value, and I want to see his cards and see what kind of a player he is. So when I check behind, he does in fact show king 4 of hearts. So he was slow playing on the river. He tried to get me to bet out, and undoubtedly he would have gone for a check raise. But it seems like I saved some money there, even though I lost the first hand of the night. After rebuying for an additional $100 to be at the maximum $300 at this 1-2 game, I look down at ace-queen offsuit from the hijack. It's a few limps over to me, so I decide to start off the action and put more money in there for $15, and 3 players decide to put in the call. After the dealer's done assembling all the money in the middle, she exposes 3 cards and it comes ace-queen 5, bang, we flop top 2. Great spot for me. It'd be pretty hard for me to be beat here. I don't think anyone would have aces or queens. If I'm losing, it's against a hand like pocket 5s exclusively. There are a lot of draws out there like king 10, king jack, and obviously 2 diamonds having that flush draw. Expecting the action to check over to me because I was in fact the pre-flop raiser, but that's not what happens when the player in the +2 position decides to lead for $30. The player on my right debates putting in the call for what seems like a minute. Ultimately though, he does fold and the action's on me. When the player in +2 is leading here, he has one of 2 types of hands. He either has a strong hand like an ace or a queen, he has pocket 5s, or he has a complete airball bluff and is just trying to figure out where he is in the hand. I think a raise here has a lot of merit, but in the moment, I decided to just call and see what he does on the turn. I'll be in position the rest of the way, so that was a huge factor in just calling. I'm the only one to put in the call, and we see the ace of spades on the turn, giving me a boat. I would say bang, but I already said it on the flop. I'm going to spare your ears just one time here. The action's on the player in the +2 position, and now he decides to slow down and check. Not really loving when he slows down here because we have the nuts on the board. Like, he can't have pocket aces. There's already 3 out there. Pocket queens he could have, I guess, but yeah, that doesn't beat my hand, and now pocket 5s is losing to my hand. So when he checks it over to me, I'm hoping and praying that he does in fact have pocket 5s or a worse ace and just is going to commit his entire stack to the pot. When he checks over to me, I decide to bet out for $75. He doesn't think about it before too long, which is good news, and then he decides to jam all in for 225 effective. He only tossed in one chip, so at first I thought he was just calling with one chip, but we're not on the river, so that doesn't make any sense. So I confirm he said all in before getting the confirmation and snap calling his bet. Obviously, I have the nut. He turns over pocket fives, and I turn over my boat. He had me in tough shape on the flop. How does he flop bottom set and I have top two? Oh well, the poker gods are on my side. They're on your side. We have a boat and see a 7 of clubs on the river. No 5, that would have been disgusting. We're going to take down that $573 pot. The guy wants to puke, I'm sure, but that's profit that's going into your guys' pockets. If you want to be eligible, make sure you drop a subscribe and a comment. After that absolutely disgusting hand, which we're not complaining about in the slightest, I decided to table change. The other table had a bunch of friendly faces, which you guys saw in the introduction, like Brandon, Mang, and Jake. So I decided to table change, and I get greeted on the button. I put in the $5 straddle with ace-7 of hearts. Middle position opens it up to $15. Brandon in the cutoff to my right puts in the call. I decide to call as well, and the big blind does as well. That means we are going 4 ways to the flop. Flop comes king 10-4 with 2 hearts. We love it immediately. Obviously, having the nut flush draw is a great situation to be in. And the big blind decides to bet out for $15. And the middle position now re-raises to 35. Unless the cutoff Brandon decides to make it like 135, we're going to be calling this $35 bet. Brandon, though, he decides to get out of the way, waving the white flag. I decide to put in the call like I said, and the big blind, who made it $15 initially, decides to fold. So yeah, that's a little bit strange. You don't see that every day, folding for an additional 20 bucks, but he must have just assumed that when I call the 35, he has to be beat, right? Well, I have ace high, and we see the 10 of spades on the turn, and the player in the +2 position now bets out for $50. The board has paired, got to be a little concerned about that if they have pocket kings or pocket fours. It's usually not wise in poker to be drawing to a hand when the board is paired because you don't have the nuts, right? On the flop, I was drawing to the nuts. If the turn comes like the 9 of hearts, I'd have the nuts, right? If the turn comes like the 7 of hearts, I would have the nuts. But now, if the river comes the 7 of hearts, I don't in fact have the nuts. So just got to be careful about that. When the player in the +2 position bets out for 50 though, I'm getting like 4-1 on my money, so I decided to put in the call. Going absolutely nowhere, looking for an ace or a red card on the river, which is not what we get. It comes the deuce of clubs. Unfortunate, we're just left with ace high here, but now the player in the +2 position decides to check it over to me, leaving me with a tough decision. Is my ace high good in this spot ever? It's definitely below 50%. But can I go for a bluff and try to get him to fold a worse hand? I think that's also sketchy because the only worse hands we're going to get him to fold is if he was turning a hand like pocket 9s, pocket 8s, or pocket 7s into a bluff. He's never folding a 10. He's never folding a king. So in the end of the day, I decide to wisely check behind, not trying to get myself into a tough situation. And he doesn't look stoked to turn over his hand, but when he does, it's a hand we can beat surprisingly. Queen Jack offsuit. He flopped himself the open-ended straight draw, continued on the turn when the board paired, and yeah, the dealer's going to ship 246 chips my way because I had the best hand. Easy game. Alright, moving right along, we look down at King Queen of Hearts from the small blind, and I decide to raise it up to $20 over the button straddle. The big blind puts in the call, Mang in middle position raises it up to $60. The low jack puts in the call, and the action's on me. Now what would you guys do in this spot? I raise it up to $20 from the small blind. We get a 3-bet and a call from the low jack, so now I think I'm priced in. Am I ahead of everybody in this spot? Absolutely not. I probably have like 25% chance to win this, but I have king queen suited, and maybe I could go for a re-raise to like 200 to 250, but I decided just to put in 2 green chips. That's a call, and the big blind now goes all in for less, around $41 left in his stack. We're going 4 ways to a flop with one person already all in, and it comes Queen Jack 6 with 2 diamonds. A lot of hope for me. I now have top pair with a great kicker. I'm only losing to a select few hands like pocket queens, pocket jacks, obviously aces and kings, and ace queen as well. So yeah, not many hands I lose to now. I now beat hands like pocket 10s and pocket 9s. The action's on me. I decide to check. The big blind's already all in, so it's over to Mang, who now decides to bet out for $60. She just copied and pasted her bet from pre-flop onto the flop, and the low jack doesn't appreciate that one bit and decides to jam for around $400 left in his stack. When Mang bet out for $60, I was obviously going nowhere. I was going to put in the call. But now when the low jack decides to jam for 400, it's a little bit of a different story. It puts us in a tough spot, and something in my gut tells me my king queen here is no good. I show Brandon to my right before folding, and Mang puts in the call. That means we're going to go off to a run out and see the rest of the cards. Deuce of hearts on the turn, 4 of spades on the river. Nothing really changed, so let's see if someone has me beat. And they all do. Ace queen on my left, Mang has pocket sixes, and the guy in the low jack has queen jack. What a flop for Mang. Imagine having pocket sixes and you have 3 people hit the queen with one of them having the queen and the jack. Disgusting board for everyone except Mang, but she's a subscriber and a vlog watcher, so we wished her some run good and she got it. We're $1,000 heading her way in what has to be one of the best hands that she's ever played. Next hand, queen 9 suited from the cutoff. It looks pretty good, so I decided to raise it up to $15 over a few limps. Under the gun puts in the call, and the low jack, who goes by Matt, he puts in the call as well. That means we are 3 ways to the flop. Flop comes queen 9-7, giving me top 2. It's not the nuts on the board. That would be queens followed by 9s followed by 7s, but it's pretty good. So when under the gun checks it over to Matt, I'm expecting him to check it over to me, and I'll go for a bet. But that's not what happens when he decides to bet out for almost pot for $40. Now my thought process goes from how much should I bet to should I raise or just call in this spot. I think raising has some merit. Of course, he could have a hand like ace queen, king queen. He could have a set which has me beat, but I blocked 2 of them, so he'd really only have my favorite hand, pocket 7s. He also could have some bluffs or semi-bluffs with like 8-10, 8-6, or the diamond draws. At the end of the day, I just decided to put in the call and the actions back over to the under the gun, who puts in the call as well. We're still 3 ways to the turn. Turn doesn't change really anything except for one hand. 8-6 now makes a straight. Under the gun checks it over to Matt once again, and now Matt decides to slow down and checks it over to me. Now I'm definitely not going to check behind here. There's just way too many draws that I can't give a free card to. So when the action's on me, I'm just deciding on how big. I think it's important to go chunky here. I wouldn't want to go like 60 to 80 bucks and give him a great price to call. So I listened to my inner thoughts and I bet out a little bit bigger for $125, which puts both players in a tough spot. The under the gun tank folds for around a minute, so he was definitely in a weird spot. And now the low jack Matt also goes into the tank before talking out loud to me. He asked me if this is going to make the vlog, and of course I say yes. He thinks about it for a few seconds further before putting all of his chips in the middle. It's just too great a price to call. He might have a good hand, he might not, but he definitely wants to make the vlog. By putting your chips over the line, it almost assures you that you're going to make the vlog. So regardless if I win or lose, you're going to see Matt's face here, and he does in fact put in the call, leading us off to the river. River card comes the 4 of clubs. I turn over my top 2 pair. He turns over 2 pair as well, although he did make it on the river. He just had 1 pair when he decided to actually go all in for $25 more than my $125 bet. At the end of the day though, we're shipping that $470, and there's Matt. That's what he looks like, and you guys can thank him if you win the giveaway on Christmas because he just donated around $200 to $300 into your pockets. Alright, 2 hands to go. We look down at pocket queens from the big blind. I have $750 in my stack, and the hijack raises it up to $17. That's all the action. When it comes around to me, I decided to make it $55, and then disaster strikes.
Oh my god! Oh jeez, oh my god!
Mudkip is tired of being the main character and not getting enough appreciation, so yeah, he wanted to do something there for the vlog. If you guys like Mudkip, drop a comment down below. I know a lot of you guys recognize me on the tables from my card protector. But yeah, I decided to raise it up here with the pocket queens to $57. And the hijack thinks about it before putting in the call, leading us off to a flop, which comes king, queen, 8. Bang! We flop middle set. Debating going for a check here since I unblock hands like ace, king, king, jack, king, 10. But I decided let's just go for value. At these small stakes, you're going to get most of your value from betting yourself as opposed to calling bluffs and other people doing the betting for you. So I decided to bet out for $40 into the hijack. He puts in the call, leading us off to the turn, which comes a 7 of hearts. And now when he calls me on the turn, I'm putting him on of a wide variety of hands, such as ace king, king jack, king 10. Maybe he has ace 10 or jack 10. He also could have a diamond draw. I think when I bet the flop, and if I was to check the turn, it looks pretty weak. He could bet and then I could spring the trap, but I think that logic is a little bit flawed. I probably should have just bet out into him here for a large sizing of like $125 to $150, charging a lot of those draws, and he's still not going to fold with any of his kings. So yeah, I think I made a small mistake here by checking, and he decides to check behind, which brings in the deuce of spades on the river. Given the way though that I have played the hand, if I check the turn, I have to go large on the river and make it polarizing. Polarizing basically means I'm going large in the hopes of confusing the opponent or making him think that I have the absolute nuts or a bluff. In this hand, I pretty much have the nuts on this board. He's never going to have pocket kings. So I decide to jam all in effectively for $200 because that's all he has left in his stack. He doesn't think about it very long before folding and later told me he had ace jack. So yeah, you see how I made a little mistake on the turn. If I bet the turn for like $100, he probably still isn't calling. But if he did want to call, he would only call on the turn, right? Because he had a gutter to the Broadway. On the river, he's obviously never calling. Probably missed out on a little bit of value, but I'm not complaining because the poker gods want me to repeat pocket queens. I looked down at them again, this time from the button. I decided to put the $5 straddle out there, and the big blind Meng raises it up to $27. Player in under the gun puts in the call, the cutoff calls, and now I decide to 3-bet to $100, which honestly might be a little bit small. I probably could go somewhere between 125 and 150. But that's neither here nor there. I'm on the button. I'll have position. It's a great spot to be in until Meng decides to raise it up to $350. It's a 4-bet. 4-bets are pretty strong and everybody else in the hand realizes that and quickly gets out of the way. The action's back over to me. Now, do I want to risk all of your guys' money here and 5-bet rip it all in? I think calling here would be kind of dumb because basically we're committing our entire stack already. I think if I was playing in a session where your guys' money wasn't on the line, I'd probably just 5-bet rip it all in and just see how the hand plays out. But because I want to go 9 for 9 in the 12 days of Wolfmas, I decide to fold my cards. I don't want to lose a $1,500 pot and not be able to give away a lot of money on Christmas Day, so I decide to fold. But Meng, because she's a subscriber of the vlog, she turns over her cards so we can see what she had. She turns over ace king and we run it out and she turns a king. So yeah, we would have lost that $1,500 pot and I saved you guys some money.
DJ, come on.
Brandon, tell the viewers what's going on right now.
All right, $50 PLO flip. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 handed. The winner has to tip at least $25 though. There's no pre-flop betting, just run it down.
To the dealer that told you that the players make the rules?
Exactly.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And that's my new rule.
He seems like a nice guy though. No, not bad. Come on, viewers.
Just for the record, I'm down about 600 in the last hour.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I deserve this one more than everyone else.
Because you are...
Okay, so I go first, right?
Yep.
So I,
You have to be jack high.
Jack high, okay. Jack high, check high.
See, three. I need a three.
She already fucked it up. Hold on, you have to keep
you
going.
have to keep going till you beat.
Oh, I gotta keep going.
Until you beat Jack high.
6, yes!
Oh, wow.
I don't know if that's gonna.
So what do I do now?
You have to beat a 6.
You gotta beat a 6. That's gonna be tough.
Yep.
9, queen, 7,
6.
Oh!
Doesn't matter.
Anyway, yeah. It's gonna be
I'm
hard.
pretty fucked, to be honest with you.
You need a pair.
You need quads, pocket 10s, or better 6. No, so you can't have better 6, yeah.
That's a good start.
10 wins. 10's for the win.
Halfway there.
10 for the win.
Oh. Is there any chops?
No, they're chopping right now, right?
I mean, not yet, no. I mean, because of the kicker.
Oh.
You're probably gonna win this. Oh, 3.
Oh, yeah, still
Hold
not
on.
enough.
Doesn't matter. Everyone's trying dead. All right, let's see it. Gotta beat a
One
queen.
at a time,
Gotta beat a queen.
I had a
You
queen.
didn't win.
It's a tie
Free roll,
so
free
far.
roll.
Free roll.
Oh, free roll.
So what is it?
Chop.
After losing that last bit of degeneracy, that PLO flip for $50, we rack up our chips and head over to the cage, exchanging them for some cold, hard cash. Alright you guys, that wraps up the day 9 of the 12 days of Wolfmas. We're 9 for 9. I haven't lost a session yet. Got in for 400, out for 570. We gave away some money at the end there, but a lot of fun. If you guys want to share at the over $3,100 that I'm giving away, drop a comment down below. Make sure you're subscribed. You have to be subscribed to be eligible. And from me and Jake, we'll catch you in the next video. Peace! Thanks for watching to the end of my video. Click my head below to subscribe and stay in the loop. See you next time.